Welcome back to This Week in Politics on KSFY. Congress returned from its August recess this past Monday, and as expected, the issue of gun law reform was one of the issues that rose to the top of the political discussion. This comes after two mass shootings during the first weekend of August in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio, where a combined 32 people were killed, 51 injured. During the August recess, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar said she would press the issue of gun reform when Congress returned. And this week, she followed through.
Today, this chamber, once referred to as the greatest deliberative body, must take action. We have people all over the country who want to see action, people who want to see change, people who are crying out for their leaders in Washington to do their jobs. These days, the United States Senate has become a place where legislation goes to die, and the important issues of the day go ignored.
There are at least two pieces of gun legislation that have passed the United States House that the Senate could act on right now. They would allow for expanded forms of background checks for gun purchases. They would also prohibit person-to-person sales of guns unless a background check had been performed. The Senate has not acted on either. Senate Majority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell says he is waiting on word from the White House about what kind of measure the president would support.
We're waiting for something we know, if it passed, would actually become law. And until the White House gives us some indication of what the president's willing to sign, we're waiting to see what it looks like.
That answer did not sit well with Senate Minority Leader Democrat Chuck Schumer.
There's one word that describes Mitch McConnell's attitude on this vital issue of life and death, and that is duck. Duck, because he's saying, let the president decide. But then he was asked here, do you support universal background checks for commercial sales? And he ducked again. He's afraid of this issue, but that's not what a leader should be doing.
Meantime, at the White House, the president hinted he is amenable to doing something.
We're looking at background checks, and we're looking at putting everything together in a unified way so that we can have something that's meaningful. At the same time, all of us want to protect our great Second Amendment. It's very important to all of us.
Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana says he is willing to listen to proposed gun law changes, but says the burden of proof is on those who want to curtail the Second Amendment.
Some people like the Second Amendment less than other amendments. That's their right too, but the Bill of Rights is not an a la carte menu.
Just this past week, the House Judiciary Committee took action on two further gun measures. One, called a red flag law, would enable a court to intervene and temporarily prevent someone who is in crisis from having access to a firearm, while a second would ban high-capacity bullet magazines for guns.